The fog rolled in from the Atlantic before dawn, swallowing the coast like a mouth, closing over a secret. Detective Elias Moreau squinted against the brine and wind. Collar turned up, his breath ghosting in the cold. The beam of Harrow's Point Lighthouse swept over the rocks in slow, mournful intervals, revealing for just a heartbeat the pale outline of a body wedged against the seaweed-slick stones. The body was female, late 20s, dressed in a white wool coat soaked and clinging to her frame like grief itself. Her name, they would later learn, was Clara Voss, a local journalist with a reputation for exposing the town's secrets. But for now, Elias only knew that her face looked peaceful in death. Too peaceful. He crouched beside her. No signs of a struggle, he muttered. No defensive wounds. Could have been a fall, said the rookie beside him. Tide caught her. Elias stared at the rocks. Then why is there no blood on the stones? The rookie hesitated. You think she was moved, Elias said, after she died. And then faintly over the rhythm of waves and wind, he thought he heard a low hum, like a tune being carried through fog, a woman's voice singing something he couldn't place. When he turned, the sound was gone. 3 days earlier, Clara Voss tapped her pen against the rim of her coffee mug, staring at her laptop screen in the corner booth of the Mariners' Rest Cafe. The headline read, "The Disappearance of Evelyn Crane, 5 years, no answers." She frowned. It wasn't strong enough. Evelyn Crane had been her best friend, the town librarian, who vanished one October night and was never found. Police called it a runaway case. Clara never believed that. Evelyn wouldn't have left her without saying goodbye. She looked out at the harbour. Fishing boats bobbed against their moorings like restless ghosts. The town was small, quiet, decaying, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone's business, but nobody said what they really thought. She whispered the new headline under her breath. Murder beneath the fog, what Harrow's Point hides. That sounded better. Her phone buzzed. A message from a blocked number appeared. You're closer than you think. Meet me at the Lighthouse, midnight. Come alone. Clara smiled bitterly. Of course it's the Lighthouse, she said to no one. She hit save, closed her laptop and told herself that if this was a trap, she'd spring it. Detective Moreau didn't believe in closure. He'd seen too many families clutch photographs like lifelines, demanding answers that never came. Closure was a story people told themselves so they could sleep. What he did believe in was pattern, and Clara Voss's death, if it was murder, followed one. 5 years ago, Evelyn Crane vanishes without trace. Now, Clara, Evelyn's best friend, dead near the same cliffs. Coincidence? Never. Not in Harrow's Point. He flipped through Clara's notes, which had been recovered from her apartment. Neat handwriting. Margins full of tiny observations. Evelyn seen arguing with someone outside Lighthouse, 2019. Possible link to Harrow family. Property deals. Someone's following me. He circled the last line. Someone's following me. That was written 2 days before she died. You don't understand the fog until you live inside it. It softens everything. The edges, the guilt, the sound of a body hitting the rocks. People think murder is loud, a scream, a struggle, a sharp blade. It isn't. It's quiet, like a secret inhaled and never exhaled. I didn't want to kill Clara Voss. I only wanted her to stop digging. But she had Evelyn's stubbornness. She couldn't leave the past alone, couldn't let the fog keep what it had taken. At the Harrow Gazette, editor Nadia Lee chain-smoked by the window, reading the police bulletin on Clara's death. Officially, accidental drowning. Unofficially, unsolved. She knew Clara better than anyone. The girl had been obsessed with Evelyn's disappearance, even after the case went cold. Nadia had warned her, let it go before it swallows you. Clara didn't listen. Journalists never do. Nadia opened Clara's email drafts. The last one was unsent, addressed to Elias Moreau himself. Detective, I think I found Evelyn. Not alive, but I know who killed her. Meet me tonight." She exhaled smoke into the grey afternoon. "Jesus, Clara, what did you find?" The next lead brought Elias to Margaret Harrow, the widow of the lighthouse keeper. Her house sat on the cliff, half-eaten by wind and salt. Margaret answered the door wearing a shawl that looked older than the house itself. "Detective," she said. "You're not here about the taxes, I hope." "Clara Voss," he said. "You knew her." Margaret smiled faintly. Everyone did. She asked too many questions. About Evelyn Crane. She came here last week. Wanted to see the cellar beneath the lighthouse. Said she was chasing ghosts. Margaret's eyes flicked toward the fog. "Sometimes the ghosts chase back." Elias frowned. "Did she say who she was meeting that night?" Margaret hesitated. "A man. Said he was from the Gazette. I didn't catch his name." "There's only one man on staff there," Elias said. "Miles Carter." Miles Carter hated himself. He hated how his hands shook as he poured whiskey into his coffee, hated how the newsroom stared at him with that mix of pity and suspicion. Clara had been his partner, in print, and for a while in bed. He told the police he hadn't seen her the night she died. It wasn't a complete lie. He'd heard her. The voicemail was still on his phone, time-stamped 11:53 p.m. "Miles, it's me. He's here. You were right. Evelyn didn't leave. She was taken. Oh my God, you won't believe who—" Then static. A muffled cry. The crash of waves. He deleted it before the police could subpoena his phone. "Because she had said you were right, and he wasn't sure he wanted to be." The missing librarian's journal was found in a sealed crate beneath the lighthouse, pages warped from damp air, ink blurred like tears. Elias read by flashlight. July 18th. "Someone's following me. They say the lighthouse isn't just a landmark, it's a vault. He's keeping something down there, something alive." August 3rd. "I saw the fog take shape tonight. A man's outline, watching." August 14th. "If I disappear, it's because of him." The keeper's son. Miles Elias froze. Miles Carter wasn't just a reporter. He was the son of the old lighthouse keeper and the last person Evelyn Crane ever saw alive. Miles sat across from Elias, hands cuffed, eyes hollow. "I didn't kill her," Miles said. "Not Evelyn. Not Clara. Evelyn's journal says otherwise." "I was 15, he said. "My father, he made me help him. Said she was trespassing. Said she saw something she shouldn't have." "What did she see?" Miles looked up slowly. "The tunnel." Elias blinked. "What tunnel?" "The one under the lighthouse. It runs to the sea caves. My father used it to smuggle things. Not drugs, people. He called them passengers. Evelyn found out. And Clara? She found the tunnel too." Elias descended the ladder with a flashlight and gun drawn. The air was heavy with rot and salt. The tunnel sloped toward the sea, carved into the cliff centuries ago, the walls slick with moisture. He found remnants, ropes, chains, rusted cages, and in the farthest chamber, bones, dozens of them. A faint echo, a woman's humming, rose from the darkness, the same melody he'd heard the night of Clara's death. He turned sharply. "Who's there?" The beam caught movement, a figure stepping out of the fog that seeped through the broken archway. Margaret Harrow. She smiled, eyes shining with madness. "They all came here for truth," she whispered. "None of them understood." "The fog doesn't hide the truth, Detective." "It is the truth." She raised the revolver before he could move. When the shot rang out, the gulls screamed above the cliffs. Elias staggered back, blood spreading through his coat. He fired once, instinct, and Margaret crumpled. Her final words were a whisper. "You think you've ended it. But the fog keeps what it loves." Later, as paramedics carried her body up the cliffs, Elias looked out at the sea. The fog pulsed like breath. And then, faintly, from the mist, A woman's voice. Clara's. "You're closer than you think." The town moved on, as towns do. The Gazette ran a memorial piece for Clara and Evelyn. The lighthouse was sealed, its door welded shut. Elias Moreau resigned. He moved inland, away from the fog. He told himself he was done, until one October night a package arrived at his door. No return address. Inside, Clara's notebook, the last page written in unfamiliar handwriting. "You were right, Detective." It wasn't Margaret. She was only the keeper. There's someone else. Someone who still walks the fog. He turned the page over. There was a single word scrawled in red ink. Miles. The following dawn, Elias drove back to Harrow's Point. Fog swallowed the road. The lighthouse loomed, its dead beacon staring at the horizon. Inside, footprints led down to the sealed tunnel, freshly disturbed. The weld had been cut. He drew his gun and descended. "Miles!" he called. A voice echoed from the dark. "You came back." Miles Carter stepped from the shadows, older, thinner, eyes wild. "I told you," he said. "My father started it." But the fog, it wanted more. It wanted witnesses. Evelyn saw, Clara saw. "Now you've seen. You killed them." Miles smiled faintly. "No, the fog did. I just opened the door." He turned toward the sea cave. The wind howled, low and mournful. The fog surged inward like a living thing. And then, silence. When the tide receded hours later, there was no trace of either man. Later, the lighthouse keeper's log was found among the ruins. October 5th, it read. Another one came. Said he was a detective. Said he wanted the truth. The fog took him like the others. October 6th. The sea is calm again. The fog sleeps. For now. Signed only, M.H. Tourists still visit Harrow's Point. They take photos by the lighthouse, admire the cliffs, and joke about ghosts in the fog. But if you stand there at midnight, when the tide is lowest and the mist is thickest, you might hear it. A woman's voice, soft and distant, whispering through the dark. "You're closer than you think, and if you follow it, you'll never come back."